A, or in other words, the pick of the English youngsters knocking around the Super League at the moment. And there is the England dressing room. Do you know, not one member of this side was born when the Kangaroos were last beaten by a game outside the Test arena in this country. It was October the 25th, 1978, when Widnes beat the Aussies 11-10 at Norton Park. Doug Lawton was player-coach that day. Almost 25 years to the day, and that's the sort of pressure that this Australian side is under. They lost 30 points to 16 to New Zealand 10 days ago. They didn't look convincing in beating the French on Saturday. People are tipping Great Britain to win the Ashes. Well, we shall see. The English boys can give the Great Britain side a real boost tonight with a good performance. Briscoe is the fullback, Calderwood, Gleeson, Aspinwall, Gardner. Thorman is alongside Burrow. The forwards, Lynch, Diskin, Parker, Tickle, Radford, and O'Loughlin is the captain. And on the bench for England A, we have Maguire, Hock, Hyam and Danny Sculthorpe, and the coach is John Keir. This is the way the Australians line up. Almost a Test side. Lockyer at fullback, Singh, Hegarty, De Vere and Lewis, Gower and Kimorley. The forwards, Clinton, Badouris, Sivanasiva, Simpson, Fitzgibbon and Ricketson. And the substitutes, Crocker, Waterhouse, Mason and Kearns. He gets the call because Shane Webke is out injured. Chris Anderson's the coach. Well, it really is a chilly evening here in the capital, and the Aussies wrapped up well against the cool. And we have talked in the build-up about various positions, various pressures, Steve-O, that is on the shoulders of coaches and players. But it's Gower and Kimorley at half-back for the Aussies. Is that the half-back partnership that will go into the Test, do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Eddie. I think that Chris Anderson will definitely go for the experience of those two half-back. Craig Gower, of course, cock-a-hoop of the fact that his Penrith side lifted the trophy down under Brett Kimorley. Last year, very, very slow to get into the swing of things, but he's certainly improved. We know his quality. Been here, of course, with the Super League Australians a few years back. But I'm sure that David Waite is pretty confident that John Keir, who will be the coach tonight of this England side, will have them all fired up to it. But I'm sure that David Waite will be looking at two particular positions. One is Rob Barrow and Danny Maguire. We've often said it, a lot of people in the media have been suggesting that these two youngsters should be brought into the major squad. This is their wonderful opportunity tonight. And if they can show their ability and their confidence against the might of the Australians, then who knows? David Waite has made it quite clear to all these youngsters who are just lining up for the national anthems that if they do play extremely well, they will be drafted in and they will have an opportunity of playing Test football.
Well, Chris Anderson was in that Australian side, beaten by Widnes 25 years ago. He was on the wing. He had actually played for Widnes in the 1975 Challenge Cup win. And there he is, the Australian coach. A man who hopes that he will be taking the Ashes trophy home with him. But all that has to be decided over those 3 Saturday evenings in November. Here now, the national anthems of the two nations. Siobhan Kilban singing the Australian national anthem. Advance Australia first. Now it's Benjamin Campbell with the English anthem. No, not the last night of the Proms, the first night of the Aussies tour of the UK. England A against Australia here at Griffin Park, Brentford, the home of the London Broncos. And the match referee, 35-year-old Glenn Black from New Zealand. He referees in the Bartercard Cup in New Zealand. He took charge of Wales against Russia on the weekend. And Stuart Cummings, the controller of referees in this country, has given him the opportunity to shine here tonight. And rightly so. Stuart Cummings is hoping that we will have an international panel of rugby league referees one of these days. We will have neutrals to control test matches. And I think we all say hear, hear to that. So can England give the British boys who are watching at home, I'm sure tonight on Sky Sports, can they give them an almighty lift against these Australians? Next it's Wales in Bridgend on Sunday for the world champions, then the 3 test matches, and they are the most eagerly awaited tests that I can remember, Steve-O.
We've got a great chance, haven't we? And I think that this will be a slide rule tonight. And I feel if the England side can just keep their composure, make sure they get their one line of defence pretty solid, you cannot afford to have some people move up and others to stand back, because the Australians, they run the angles very, very well indeed.
We're underway. Thorman with the kick-off. Underneath it was Craig Gower. Tips it inside to Sivanasiva. And first tackle of the Australians run through the UK. They have quite an act to follow, but that's terrific English defence. Leading the way, Lee Radford of the Bradford Bulls. But it's the Australians, and it's fierce tackling by England early on here. It's terrific to see. Kim Morley spreads the ball wide, gets it away there to Simpson. He's grounded, plays the ball quickly. That was Badouris. There's the first kick downfield. Remember, we say in the Super League this is a pretty short-length field at Brentford. Oh, that's a good ball on a knock-on. And it's going to be the first knock-on that the referee will play. Aidy Gardner just couldn't take the pass in from Mark Calderwood.
Well, the combination of the two wingers, you see that he took his eyes just off the football at the crucial moment.
He was looking at Matt Singh closing in for the tackle.
Well, the nerves obviously going to play its part.
Well, this is a big test now of this English defence. It's with Gower. He looks for the runner. It's Lockyer. He gets the ball away, and this is Hegarty.
Clear. Right, don't jump, hold.
Hegarty plays the ball to Lockyer. He gets it then to Fitzgibbon, and Fitzgibbon driving in.
Clear.
Badouris waits again, the dummy half for the Aussies. Comes wide to Kim Morley. Finds the runner, who is Joel Clinton, but that's good defence again from the English. From Badouris to Kim Morley, and then wide, good bullet pass. Great defence though. Low down it was Aspinwall, over the top Gardner. This is Ricketson. Ricketson attacking the defence. They've survived 5 tackles. Can they hang on? Kim Morley to Gower. Gower, it bounces forward. England will have it back. It came off Fitzgibbon.
It's on the last little bit of turnover. Not surprisingly, Chris Anderson's side, they went for the power play, not interested in the kick through.
Roll out.
Mainly due to the fact, Eddie, that these Australians, they've had a little bit of a difficulty getting their teamwork sorted out.
First penalty of the international against the Australians. He called held, Glenn Black. They didn't get away quick enough. Relieving penalty for England.
Little doubt about it. Had to give the penalty. Glenn Black there, the official for tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how England handle their first set of 6. They'll be going for the kick. Australia will want to keep the ball in their hands as much as possible.
Almost through.
Hold here, hold.
Good job that Clinton went low on the little fella. That's the one thing to the Australians. They don't know much about this Rob Barrow. He'll go underneath the high tackle.
This is Andy Lynch of the Castle of the Tigers. Had a wonderful season. Plays the ball there to Diskin. There's a chance here. It's dumped back. And that's Thorman. Just couldn't find a way through.
Neat little step there from the standoff. It has to go wide, surely.
Burrow will dab the kick through with the left foot. It's picked up by Lewis behind his own line. That's terrific pressure from England. Terrific pressure. They're going to get a repeat set of 6.
We knew it was going to be the tactics. John Keir made it quite clear that they would do the kick and chase, make sure they were there. There were plenty in numbers. Nothing that Luke Lewis could do about that. Bang, straight into the in-goal area.
The drop out from Kimorley is to the halfway line. And it was into the arms of Briscoe. He then gets it infield to Lynch, and Lynch...
Called held, lost it.
He called held, the referee says, and then Lynch lost the ball. I think he was actually trying to offload there as he went down.
I think he just squeezed out, Eddie, to be fair. Well, they really should have kept hold of the possession. So important that you've got to get through your sets of 6. If you get it 1 or 2 on the roll, you've got to make sure you make the opposition pay. Be disappointed, John Keir, with that. They try to offload.
Fitzgibbon, that's a good run, but a great tackle. Terrific tackle by Gleeson it was. This is Sivanasiva now for the Aussies. Gets them over the halfway line. Badiris waits again at dummy half. And here is the number 15, Clinton. Badiris again will come this way. Solid English defence so far.
Big advantage that the Australians have throughout their season. They play the ball ever so quick. They get the momentum going.
That's a great ball to Ricketson, and it goes further wide, and there's a chance there begging for Matt Singh, and he couldn't take the pass in.
Well, that's 1-1, isn't it? Matt Singh is opposite. Adi Gardner spilled the ball. There was cover there. Oh, good work there by the England side. Quick play the ball and went straight away over it. Coldwood, well noted for that.
But he scored a try on this ground from a very quick tap 20 when Leeds were here against the London Broncos. But I must tell you that in this test series and in this international programme, we are going to be playing international rules, which means that the tap restart is under the control of the referee at all times. He will give the team chance to set their defence. That's good defence, by the way, from Australia. And then he will blow the whistle.
No way that Gleeson was going anywhere else but over the whitewash. But a good start by England. They weathered the storm early, came up with a mistake. Chris Anderson wouldn't have been too impressed with the fact that Matt Singh lost the opportunity. I think maybe the cover defence would have got to him. But it just shows you how quick that this Australian side can get the ball out wide with just 2 long passes.
It's an encouraging opening 6 minutes from England, though, but the Australians now trying to inject a little bit of pace, and doing that there with Steve Simpson driving it in. Badiris, the dummy half. Here is Ricketson again for the Kangaroos.
England, of course, they've got to try to slow down this Australian playing the ball quickly. They're doing that already. They've got to test the referee.
Gower goes wide, and through the legs of Singh, and finds its way to the touchline.
Well, he couldn't be blamed for that occasion. It wasn't the best from the standoff Craig Gower. It's quite obvious in the opening few minutes that Australia, as we've seen in their 2 warm-up games, they got battered against the New Zealand, and they certainly didn't play all that well against the select French. They just aren't getting that teamwork. They don't understand each other as yet.
2 tries from Matt Singh against the French select on Saturday night, and that was an opportunity, and he had an opportunity earlier that he blew as well.
He's plenty of pace, that's for sure.
That's why they're trying to get it out to him all, and that's a big hit there on Andy Lynch. Plays the ball to Diskin. He gets it away to Thorman. Good ball from Thorman, but the opportunity there for Radford is closed down by defenders. Now Diskin, good run from dummy half.
Good work on that shot. Good work on the short blind side. They're doing it again. That's good thinking as well. That's a neat kick.
Oh, and it nearly deceived Lockyer, but he's one of the best in the world. Darren Lockyer, the Australians' captain on this tour.
That was great thinking there by Chris Thorman.
Matt Singh again.
They've done that short blind side. The Australians expected to come into the open, and the standoff took it on that blind. Neat little chip, put the pressure on the fullback Lockyer.
Big forwards trying to trundle it upfield for the Australians.
They can see the English yet again just holding them down just enough time.
Ricketson, good tackle, flying tackle by little Rob Burrow. It's on the last tackle here in Kimorley. That's a good kick.
He's on, he's on.
And that's bouncing very awkwardly indeed, but Gardner picked it up well in the end. The chase was led by Steve Simpson of the Newcastle Knights. And this is Briscoe now for England A. Laying the ball quickly, Diskins just slipping as Sivanasiva came to meet him.
Important now that England just settle things down a little bit, regain their composure, then get a good kick and chase.
Paul Cullen is the Warrington coach. He's also assistant to John Keir with the England A side. The kick from Burrow is fielded easily here by Lockyer.
But then again, a good chase. It's only as good as the chase as the kick, and they're doing the right thing. Never put it down the throat of Darren Lockyer. In open space, he'll beat the first man all the time. You've got to keep pushing that ball away from him. So he's got to take the ball on the angle.
Sivanasiva again for Australia, met by a firm challenge from Danny Tickle. Helped out also there by Sean O'Loughlin, his captain. Here is Gower. Always danger when Gower gets the ball. Good run, but solid defence in the shape of Martin Gleeson. Badiris, Kimorley under pressure there from Diskin. High kick, Briscoe's underneath it.
It was a poor kick really from the halfback Brett Kimorley. Haven't seen much of the number 7 from Australia so far. Nearly 10 minutes into this game.
Right down. Hold. Let's go.
Burrow gets the ball away. Here is Radford again. Sub in the grand final victory over Wigan was Radford. Burrow gets it away to Lynch.
Will certainly be lifted, England. The fact that they've got through the first 10 minutes, not conceded a point, more to the point is that they are looking very confident indeed. And at this point, this is where Rob Burrow maybe run a little bit more from dummy half.
Outside.
The kick was from O'Loughlin downfield. On the bounce, it's gathered in by Lockyer. It's a very promising start from England. Sean McRae on the side.
Eddie, it is. I think both sides are just testing the water at the moment. It's a little bit nervous start from the England A team. A couple of drop balls there, an early tackle count, and put themselves under a lot of pressure. But their defence has held up very well. They're getting off the line exceptionally well, and they're well organised. The Australians are looking just a little quicker at the play of the ball at the moment, and coming up with a few errors themselves, I was just about to say, and there's another one. And that's something that I thought maybe before this game kicked off, they may have a problem with. The football would be the first time they've used it in the UK conditions. The ground's a little bit slippery underfoot, and I suspect we might see a few more drop balls and a few more clean-ups from other teams, from the other team as we go into this game.
Hit in, keep it in.
The scrum forms, it's English feed, and here is Gleeson again. Good defence though from Craig Gower. Now it's with Radford once more. Just over the halfway line. England, 11.5 minutes gone. It's 0-0 here. This is Andy Lynch.
Sensible play of the forwards, just getting over the advantage line. Got to try to work the Australian defence. Got to try to get them away from that one line. Try to put them into one pocket. Oh, it's great defence.
Was good defence. Aspinwall trying to get to his feet. Matt Singh all around him. It's with Burrow again, centre field. Will-o'-the-wisp Rob Burrow. He's lit up Super League over the past 2 years. That's a good kick from Thorman, drifting it through, bouncing awkwardly again for Lockyer, but he has so much experience, the Australian skipper and fullback.
Good work from Martin Gleeson there. He's working overtime. He knows this is a golden opportunity. Hasn't had the best of season, Gleeson, but he's certainly being given a chance here, and he's taking it with both hands.
Well, England A have never met the Australians before on a fully-fledged tour. Their last fully-fledged tour in '94, they did meet the under-21s of Great Britain, and they won 54-10 at Gateshead, did the Australians. And in 1978, they played the under-24s at the old Hull KR ground, Craven Park. They won 30 points to 8. Briscoe plays the ball with his foot, so it's all on, and Kimorley leading the chase.
The big important factor is that, remember, when Nate Gardner made that mistake in the first minute, there he is taking the ball forward, is that Australia didn't capitalise and take a score. So often we've seen when these Australians come over to England is that they get off to a flying start, and then we get a little bit disjointed, we start falling off the tackles. But this is a very, very good start by the England boys.
Well, they played with great credit here against New Zealand 12 months ago. It was only 3 tries in the last 9 or 10 minutes, I think, that gave the scoreline on that occasion a slightly disjointed look. And John Keir was quick to point out that these English players, they have grown up over the past 12 months in the Super League. They really are, some of them, the pick of the young players that we've got coming through. And they are knocking on the door of the Test side, no doubt about that whatsoever. This is Michael De Beer for Australia.
I think a big factor as well, Eddie, is that these youngsters are coming through. They're playing with the top sides. It's not as though one particular player is coming from a lower club that we've seen in the past, but a lot of these players, they play top-level football, playoff football. They know what it's all about. They know what pressure's all about, too.
Simpson gets to his feet. Here is Kimmorley. The man in the engine room lets the first break. He's got Lockyer on one side. There is Lockyer. Can England stop it? He slips. Gives it though to Medeiros, and Medeiros gets over for the first try. Kimmorley, the first break. Kimmorley, the first man in the Australian green and gold to break the English line. And Australia over for the first try of the match. Danny Medeiros, the Newcastle Knights hooker, rated by many as the best in the world. Great support play.
Wonderful backing up there by the hooker Medeiros, but look at the quality of the halfback, Brett Kimmorley, and the ability for Lockyer. Tackle was not complete, they did well, and as all hookers should do, you youngsters watching at home, whilst all this was going on, Medeiros was running right down the centre of the field of play, and when the opportunity comes, he just springs up at the right moment. That was an excellent break, wonderful finish, good combination.
Right, Australia off at your peril. Terrific break from Brett Kimmorley. And now Craig Fitzgibbon from the Roosters. Star of New South Wales, 2 wins against Queensland in this year's State of Origin series. Adds the extras. The Aussies are ahead by 6 points to 0. They are the world champions. They're no mugs, Steve-O.
Not whatsoever, and as you can see there, the hooker there, Diskin really should have had him. They just ones it down. Danny Tickle had moved up. Spoke earlier about the fact you've got to go on one line. You cannot one out, some hold back, because it leaves a wider gap, and the speed of this Australian side. I mentioned before that they love nothing better than running the angles. And you saw there Kimmorley testing the defence. Going at the angle, you've got to make sure you put him down. They failed to do that. Result, try.
Test now of the English character. Great start. Just a momentary lapse in concentration from Matt Diskin. Kimmorley was through him, and Medeiros with the try.
Something about it, Eddie, is that that's the only sort of, not only it's the only second time, but they've missed a tackle. Just about to praise at the quality of one line of defence, but it just was a little bit slow there. You've got to go as a unit.
This is Medeiros, gets the ball away. Kimmorley with the kick. He's looking for the 40-20, but that ball will hold up in the field of play. And Calderwood will pick it up. Oh, he's running across his own line and flat, and he's bundled over the line.
Well, the referee said it's in the field of play. That's to the advantage of the English boys there. It looks as though his momentum is still going back.
Indeed it did, and
but what a great kick.
Briscoe had some work to do there.
Wonderful kick from Brett Kimmorley. He could see there that Mark Calderwood was out of the position. Well, he kept the ball there. Good referee by Glenn Black.
And a kick from Thorman to get England out of trouble, but straight down the throat of Lockyer. Lockyer will come forward again. Matt Diskin, by the way, we say congratulations to him. Became a dad for the first time last Tuesday. Welcome to the world, baby Mia. But Dad will be anxious to make amends for that missed tackle on Kimmorley. This is a drive forward here by Joel Clinton. Medeiros, Sivanasiva. Lynch and his prop forward partner Rob Parker.
I get the impression Chris Anderson has got the message out to this Australian side. Look.
Oh, now then, here's an opportunity, and Gardner is quick, and can Gardner beat Kimmorley to the line? I think he can, and he's trying to improve the angle as well. Gardner puts the ball down. Australia coughing up possession in English territory. from Gardner will certainly please John Keir. England, the youngsters, have responded to that first strike from Australia in the best possible manner.
Quick thinking as well from the winger. See Australia trying to force it out, use the dummy runner there. It was a real mistake. Dropped the ball. Fullback Lockyer certainly had his eye on the football and took it away at the last moment, but full credit to this fella, Gardner. Also good work by Brett Kamali, made sure that Kamali passing through there. And the fullback, Lockyer, took his eye off the football. This guy didn't. He knew it was TRY all the way through. Look at the determination on his face. Good rhythm. Good try. Aussies are shocked.
John Keir, the English coach, he's with Sean McRae at Hull. He's been part of the international scene actually for best part of a decade. He includes in his CV a stint as the academy coach of Great Britain, and of course he was in charge of England in the 2000 World Cup as well, John Keir. He'd be well pleased with Eddie Gardner, his flying winger, and he'd be even more pleased with Chris Thorman if he can add the extras here. And Thorman does exactly that. And England are level. England 6, Australia 6. Gardner with the try. He was on the wing for Cumbria against New Zealand A last Sunday. And this is the reason why he scored.
And you can see the dummy runner coming through. The Australians use it all the time. And really the fullback, all the experience, Darren Lockyer there, should have taken that. It wasn't a bad pass from Brett Kamali. The opportunity was there, but well spotted by Gardner. It was always going to be a try as soon as he touched that football. Game on.
Absolutely, a great chase from Australia for the kick-off. Well, great response from the English, Sean.
Oh, terrific response, Eddie. I think I might have said, I think we're going to see a few drop balls tonight. Sometimes through timing, sometimes the fact the ball's a little slippery, and teams will capitalise. One thing about this England A team, they've got great pace right across the park. They've got people that are very, very good on their feet, as we've just seen now, an ability to probably offload the ball, but they've also got a wonderful ability to finish off. And Eddie Gardner's pace there is a great example of that. And it's even Stevens at the moment, and that's probably a fair result in the first 20 minutes of this game.
There's Danny Sculthorpe struggling to his feet.
Okay.
And the kick through was by Thorman. Matsing collects it for Australia. Good chase though, and a good defensive. Oh, he's dropped that.
2-0.
Oh, he says it was stolen.
Well, it looks all at sea as this winger, Matt C. Has played hooker, of course, and half-back down under, but I'm not so sure that Andy Lynch should have been... Oh, yes, a different angle, which is the angle that the referee would have seen. Nearly got away with it.
On the line, don't go early.
What's the tempo now from this English side? They're on level terms yet again.
Well, there's an enthusiastic chase on the kick downfield, Steve. All right, they conceded the penalty, the stripping. And this defence, well, you said they had to be cruel, and cruel they are. And
not surprisingly, Chris Anderson and taking off the prop forward, Simon Asiva. He really hasn't put himself about. You've got to start working. You've got to build a platform. All the great Australians teams in the past, they've always had a good set of forwards. Lay that platform. Then the three quarters just rip you apart.
Gower tackled by Rob Burrow. Lockyer waits at dummy half. Dabs the kick to the in-goal area. He's after it himself. Burrow gets there though.
Quick
carries the ball over the dead ball line.
That really was quick thinking. Neat little kick through there from Darren Lockyer. Everyone thought it was going to be dipped into the corner, but little Burrow just read it ever so well, didn't he?
And just diffused the situation by grounding the ball in his own in-goal. So it's a dropout underneath the post coming up here for England A.
Well, as the minutes tick away, the confidence will certainly build in the English side. A lot of youngsters out there, but they realise that, great offload under pressure.
Robbie Kearns got it away, and it was then, in turn, given to Fitzgibbon.
Hold here, don't jump.
They are 20 metres away from the British line, the English line rather, and there's Willie Mason. Badiris. Good ball, Kearns.
Three.
Solid English defence, three of them in there.
Made a difference already as Kearns.
And this is Ricketson! And Ricketson almost gets the ball down. He's short and he's held up on his back anyway.
Don't jump.
Wonderful, solid
don't
defence
jump.
from England.
Back it comes to Kimorley. Here is Craig Gower. Now it's with Fitzgibbon. Fitzgibbon gets it away to Hegarty. Oh! And Lewis puts the ball down.
Now then, did Calderwood get a fingertip to that? He's saying that he did. We'll soon see here. Hard to say.
The referee has given head and feet to England.
Well, Luke Lewis had the opportunity.
What you hear that stays there?
He's not impressed, Chris Anderson.
Beat us. You're
And he
holding.
knows it
You're
too.
holding.
Far too many errors. I must say there were a lot of people surprised at a few of the selections, Eddie, especially Luke Lewis. Oh, great offload. Oh, he's lost it.
It's a knock on.
But it's gone forward.
But whose knock on was it? I think he's given it English head and feet here at the scrum.
You're holding for me. You're holding them.
It's a knock on given against
Get in,
Australia
get in.
for the tackle by Cairns.
Yep. Reefed it out.
Oh, not the best pass.
Too quick.
Got him offside.
They're offside, Australia.
You don't often see that. Now just calm it down. You can see Chris Thorman wanted to get on with the job, but they don't need to. It was an awful pass there, and they got away with it. That's better. Just.
You're on me. You're on me. You're on me. You're holding me. Yep, you're on.
Now
O'Loughlin to Burrow. It goes infield to Diskin.
One. I mean, 18. Hold.
Burrow waits dummy half. And there is Thorman. Good ball. Big hit though on Aspinwall.
Lockie is hurt. He came off second best there. He's down on his haunches there. They will not want to risk him. They'll probably bring him off if it's any doubt. Sorry, it's
And
Kimorley, sorry.
And Kimorley it was. This is Burrow. Good harassing by Fitzgibbon. O'Loughlin. Good dabber. Cross looking for Briscoe. Lockyer read the situation well though. He will counter.
Great step, hasn't he, Darren Lockyer? There's so much pressure, you think that it's got to be put down.
Good game, Steve-o, this. Good contest.
Fantastic.
These youngsters are really earning their stripes.
Go.
We said before the kick-off that John Keir would have them wound up, that is for sure. But how many times have we said it, Eddie? And let's hope that it doesn't happen this series, is that we do so well for 60 minutes. When the game lasts for 80, over the years and years, the Australians have just kept going for that last quarter.
Well, it happened in that match, as I say, last year against New Zealand for England A. They conceded 3 in the last 10 minutes. And that was the end of the match as far as they were concerned. This is the last tackle here from Australia. Gower will hammer the ball downfield. And that will run too deep. There's one almost for the steward then. Briscoe nearly went in the back of the steward, but Craig Gower captained Penrith to grand final glory. Steve Simpson looks like he's taking a breather.
Well, Kamal is still receiving treatment way back downfield.
Well, that would be a problem for them if Kimorley picks up a serious injury here. Already shorn of the likes of Andrew Johns. Good defence. Terrific defence there from Fitzgibbon. Shot out of the line. This is Gleeson. Gets the ball away to Calderwood. He had to go down and take the tackle then, otherwise he would have been shoveled into touch by Gower.
Interesting to see the Australians not utilising the sliding defence. They're doing man-on-man. That's the reason why England just having a bit of a struggle to get over the advantage line.
Chip over the top was by Burrow. Into the arms of Singh though.
To the line!
They were all looking forward to this opportunity to test themselves against the best in the world. The English. I think they've got an average age of something like 21, England A. Really is the pick of the crop. And a crop that has been well and truly harvested by David Waite and John Keir this year, and all the other coaches in Super League as well, to be fair. But here come the Aussies in the shape of Ricketson. That's a great ball to Gower, and Gower tries to get away from Briscoe. Eventually the tackle is completed. It was the last. Badeiras to Kimorley, fit again, kick out wide, looking for Singh out there. He finds him, and Singh will score.
Beautiful kick from the injured Kimmorley too.
He's not given it yet. He wants to check that Matt Singh is onside.
Great kick there from Kimmorley.
First decision for tonight's video referee. Kimmorley, Steve-O, has been involved in 2 critical moves, and they've both produced, well, certainly the first try, and is this the second?
Well, his quality, isn't it? Just can't see him out wide there, but the shadows perhaps may help. And it's up there for, oh yeah, he's definitely onside, Eddie.
Yes, he came from behind the 10-metre line.
Certainly did that, and yeah, the better of Aid Gardner. Gardner scored the try, has been beaten for that one from a high kick. This will be Tiawa, it is.
Matt Singh then, he has had 2 previous chances, he's put them down, but he comes up with his 3rd try of the tour, and Australia have the lead again.
Good work. They made a bust on that left-hand side, and the delayed pass was superb. Well taken by Singh. Got the better of his opposite winger. Oh, beautiful kick. And the backspin on it. And you can see there that Eddie Gardner went far too early. He was on his way down when Mr. Singh was going up.
No doubts in the mind of Jeff Berry, tonight's video referee. Australia have the lead, it's 4 points. And Fitzgibbon's trusty boot means the gap is now 6. It's England A 6, Australia 12.
Good build-up by the Australians. Just starting to see a few of the England defenders just fall off the ball carrier. Craig Fitzgibbon is so much experience, this fella. There's a try scorer, Matt Singh.
North Queensland Cowboys, recalled by Wayne Bennett for Queensland this year. He was 3 years out of favour at State of Origin level, but 3 tries on this tour already. He got those 2 against the French select in Carcassonne on Saturday night.
That would have settled his nerves as well. He bombed an opportunity early.
Oof. A bit of a schmozzle as the ball made its way to the Australian try line. Gower, though, played the ball with his foot, picked it up. The onrushing Englishman.
They're the 2 major players, as far as I'm concerned, this Australian side tonight. The 2 halfbacks, Craig Gower and Brett Kimmorley, as you've already mentioned, Eddie, he's taking control of things out there.
And here is Willie Mason.
I think the fact that Chris Anderson has brought on 2 new forwards from the bench, had a little bit more spice into this Australian attack.
Off the
Now's the chase. Oh, that's good. Look at that one-liner. That is fantastic.
Yes, terrific chase. The little fumble by Gardner where it knocked off his chest and went backwards allowed them the opportunity to move up, and they were quicksilver. Sean McRae, they are, as I said to Steve-O earlier, no mugs this Australian side, even though untried.
No, the pace they're playing at, Eddie, I think is exceptional, and I think we're seeing the England A team benefit from the interchange rule of 4 and 12. He's been able to, John Keir's obviously been able to rest a few players, but at the same time keep quite a few fresh there, and that's sometimes you see against an Australian side in the last 10 minutes, Australian sides wrap up a lot of points and start to run over the top of other sides. That's not going to be the case in this last 8 or 9 minutes or so, but what a well-worked try that by Brett Kimmorley. It was a great break by Craig Gower, and then just a little wink and a nod to the outside back Matt Singh, who hasn't had a particularly brilliant game in terms of handling the ball, but that'll give him a lot of confidence, that try. And 12-6, anyone's ball game at this stage. England A have got to do well to hang on here for the next 8 minutes and not let Australia get back over the try line.
Yes, they must be desperate to hang on to this 6-0, or they're caught now offside. Must be desperate to hang on to this 6-point disadvantage. But Australia, with Gower, looking for more.
Good play by Gower. Not playing as a standoff, really. He's working outside of his centres. Obviously a ploy by Chris Anderson, the Aussie coach. Don't see much running from this fella here. Danny Buderus scored a good try support-wise.
Buderus again, here's Kimmorley. Kimmorley, the man with the key. Wasn't the best pass, but it was right round the knees, but he still managed to take it in. And this, it's Willie Mason. The ball has come free. And Kimmorley has it, and Kimmorley has scored, he thinks, but it's another decision for Jeff Berry. Is there a knock-on there?
Well, I think this went backwards. Well, sadly, the big fella, Willie Mason, and it was flicked away there, and I think that went backwards. That's okay. And the little halfback, this is the incident here. Did it go back? And did he touch it? And it goes back. Let's play on. This will be TRY. Well, Mr. Kimmorley involved in creating the first two. I want to see whether the ball, is deliberately passed it back. No knock on. Cairns is the one that goes for it. It was definitely.
Does he touch it there, Cairns? It's a grand final style decision here for Jeff Berry. Remember the little flick from the fingers of Vainikolo. I think this will be no try. It is.
Well, that's a great let-off for them. Anderson not too perturbed about it. He'll be more impressed with the fact that they got into that position. Again, you see the quality of the Australians using that dummy runner. They've used it twice in the 3 quarters there. And it's just making the English defence just hesitate slightly. You can't do it. You've got to commit yourself as one unit.
I agree with you, Steve. That's a big let-off for England. They're having trouble at the moment just getting over this advantage line. Australia are charging in on the tackle. Danny Sculthorpe trying to cart the ball forward. He did get the pass away, but this defence is solid as a rock now from Australia. It will take something special to break it. Can Thorman produce it? Well, nearly.
Here we are, don't jump.
This is looking for work, Chris Thorman, and that's what England need, definitely.
Burrow is in trouble, gets it away to Briscoe. Briscoe gets the kick in, but that is straight into the arms again of Lockyer. He gets the ball in field to Luke Lewis.
Great player, Darren Lockyer. You see that, you know, that star players throughout so many seasons we've seen, especially the Australians, players with so much quality, Eddie, it's as though they can just stop and the opposition stop with them, as we just saw there, Darren Lockyer. There was 4 men coming towards him. He threw the dummy, stopped, and then had time to get the ball away.
Well, there was flying legs there and feet from Crocker, and there's an Englishman down. But the play will continue with Lewis. He's fed there by Lockyer, gives it back to Lockyer. He gets it away to Gower. And I think Lee Radford is all right. He's got back to his feet, but they unload the ball in the tackle. That's Medeiros. And Medeiros again gets the ball away, and then it's knocked forward by Shannon Hegarty.
No doubt about it. Hegarty trying to be a little bit too fancy there.
And then Willie Mason, I think, hammers the ball into the crowd behind the post, and the referee, Glenn Black, just says, Willie, that was silly. Oh, and he got a nasty kick in the face there, didn't he, Lee Radford?
Certainly did. Willie, that was silly. You're starting early on this tour. Oh, it's good defence. Willie Mason putting the power there. That's better. Good play the ball, run from dummy half. Australia only made 3 missed tackles.
Yes, this defence is suddenly rock solid from Australia.
And you can see now that England, they're looking a little bit lost, Eddie. I think the opening 30 minutes really has taken it out of them.
And they'll be glad to get to half-time. Little angle kick, but that's easy for Lockyer. And he does well to get the pass away. This is De Vere. And he got the ball to Singh.
Keep coming, mate. Here you are.
Suddenly, Australia dominant. And this is Kimmorley.
Find me, boys, find me.
Offloading at ease now. Struggling the opening 15 minutes.
Mason.
He made a big difference. Mere fact, Willie Mason and Cairns has come onto this field. They've really just upped the tempo for the Australians. The Kangaroos looking a much better unit now.
Medeiros, and here is Hegarty. And Hegarty gets it wide to Lewis. He comes back in field, but is grounded by Calderwood and Gleeson.
This will be the kick in the corner, surely.
Medeiros to Kimmorley. And Kimorley angles the kick, looking for Lockyer. Brilliant. Lost it under pressure from Briscoe.
Good work by the fullback Briscoe there. But what a wonderful kick. Whether he was onside or not, they would have gone for the screen on that one, but full credit to Sean Briscoe. Look at that kick there. Combined move. Obviously they've worked hard on the training paddock with that one.
Good job that Briscoe was there to harass him. I think they might have all been onside, Steve-O. So quick are they.
Brilliant play, isn't it?
Keep coming green and you hold.
It's a joy to see them. Danny Sculthorpe feeling the full weight there of Fitzgibbon and Mason. And he's gone for the 40-20 here as Chris Thorman. The ball has just bounced unkindly for him. Singh is able to pick it up 10 metres away from his own line. Good chase though by England.
Square! Come to me, Rob. Yep, you're fine.
Lockyer. Away it goes to De Vere.
Line!
Good defence from England. Can they just hold on to this 12-6 scoreline up to half-time? Australia offloading the ball with alarming ease though.
Hold on me.
They're getting the confidence back in their play. That's good refereeing there.
Here's Badiris. Badiris looks for the support. It's dropped. Put down by the number 14, Michael Crocker. And England have got it back.
To be fair, the rules we say they're building in confidence, but they're getting a little bit cocky now. They're trying to offload it every given moment. I'm sure Chris Anderson will have plenty to say about that at half-time. Say, hey, come on, fellas.
Gleeson.
Just make sure that there's somebody there in support, is in a good position before you offload.
He was nearly through then, Gleeson. It was a good tackle from Gower. Here's Thorman.
Well, welcome to the big time.
Well, he's going to get a bit of that when he goes to Parramatta next year. Here is Gleeson again. Gets the ball away to O'Loughlin. He in turn gets it away to Mickey Hyam. Hyam then to Danny Sculthorpe. And that's the last tackle for England. Burrow waits the dummy half. The kick is slid through there by Thorman again.
This is where the Australians are so dangerous. When you think you've just got them trapped in their own quarter, they have this wonderful ability to just do the step, even putting a dummy runner through there, and they'll get the centres working. Watch for the link out wide.
Willie Mason again. Different side, as you say, with him on the field and Robbie Kearns.
Well, he's causing a lot of trouble with the fact that he's attracting 2, sometimes 3 would-be defenders, and where the Australians want to get on with it, look, they want to play quickly. That's where they catch them offside.
Badiris. He's called it as the last tackle. Lockyer to Kimorley. Oh, and they just hung off Kimorley momentarily then. They've conceded a penalty.
They'll take the tap. They won't bother with the kick. They need as much ball in hand as possible. English player down there, no doubt about it.
Well, with half a minute remaining, Steve, they might take the 2, and they are.
They're
going to go for that.
That really does surprise me for the side that wants to test their arm with the football.
Well, so close to half-time, and this is respect for the young Englishman.
I'll agree with that. No doubt about it, was it? Fullback Sean Briscoe came off for the...
Yeah, he came off second best there.
A wonderful tackle earlier, wasn't it, when it kicked through.
Well, this is a gift 2 points on offer for Craig Fitzgibbon. Remember this fellow, 22 points, a try and 9 goals against St Helens in the World Club Challenge in February. A kicker of some quality. And he confirms that fact. 14-6, Australia lead at half-time here at Griffin Park. But the Englishman by no means disgraced. It was a really good contest. And Australia know that they are in a match here. But Kimorley, the man who has been at the hub of everything for Australia, and terrific play from the Aussies throughout this first half. They lead 14-6.
With 1 down and 1 to go, England are looking for another victory against Bangladesh to win the series. The second and final test, Bangladesh v England, starts tomorrow morning, 3:15, Sky Sports 2.
Mount Everest Base Camp, 17,000 feet. Whose idea was this? Fortunately, with a laptop powered by Centrino, Intel's mobile technology, you can see a friendly face wirelessly from thousands of places, even if you can't feel your fingers. Intel Centrino, mobile technology.
Good night. Good morning.
Club World. More beds to more places, more often.
Scanners let you scan any barcode on real products and capture the monsters. Then battle them on your own or play head-to-head to win. Scanners! Scan them, capture them, fight them!
Virgin Mega Stores presents this week's Virgin Mega Deals. Get Too Fast, Too Furious on DVD for just $15.99. And Travis, the brand new album, 12 Memories on CD for just $9.99. This week's Virgin Mega Deals must end Sunday. Virgin Mega Stores, whatever turns you on.
6 hours ago, I was ready to give anything for you. Do you know what's changed in the last 6 hours? Nothing.
You are really ready to die for this man.
You don't think you're coming back?
I'm scared, Trent.
So am I.
If she has to, she'll kill every one of us. She's in love.
Believe it.
Everything that has a beginning has an end.
Sky Sports live coverage of the Nationwide League continues.
Absolutely wonderful.
Saturday at midday on Sky Sports 2, Wigan take on Crystal Palace. Then at 5:30, it's Wimbledon v Bradford on Sky Sports 1.
Well, we've enjoyed a fantastic Super League season. Now the spotlight well and truly on the international scene. And Great Britain, we are assessing how the Australians are going to go here in the Ashes series. We will see Great Britain in their warm-up match against New Zealand Day this Wednesday evening, 7:30, Sky Sports 3. And we'll have another look at the Aussies again on Sunday from 1:30, Sky Sports 2. We're in the Valleys. Bridgend is the place to watch Wales against Australia, or on Sky Sports 2. Half-time here. England A 6, Australia 14. Gardner and Thorman, Badira, Singh and Fitzgibbon with the 3 successful kicks for the Aussies. John Keir, the England coach, will be well pleased with what he has seen. They've completed their sets, they've made a few breaks, they've scored an impressive try, but they're having to do a lot of work in the tackling, aren't they? And 11 missed tackles. That's probably a few too many for the England coach. And Chris Anderson did hint that his men would get better as this tour progresses. Not really completing their sets, are they? 21 times in possession, they've only completed 13, but they've made 6 breaks. They could easily have scored 6 tries and just 4 missed tackles. But 12 errors, though, and that's why they haven't scored the 6 tries. They've been putting the ball down. Start of the Australians' tour of the UK, Wales next up, then the 3 tests. But on the evidence of that first 40 minutes, Steve-O, we do have hope. No doubt about that.
Oh, without a doubt, and full credit to the youngsters. They've certainly played well in the opening 10-15 minutes. They kept Australia well and truly on the back foot, but the quality of this Australian side will always come to the fore. Kamali really in absolutely wonderful play. Look how he threw the dummy there. Diskin just couldn't get across. Mention the fact that you've got to make your defence solid and straight, not in an angle. Kamali slips, full-back Lockyer makes sure that Badira's in. Good support play by the hooker there. And then Lockyer, who's not been the best of game when it comes to handling the ball, drops the ball. It wasn't a bad pass. And the winger Gardner, great determination. Always great to see a winger, when you get clear, don't worry about the defence coming across. You make sure you're onto the line there. And then this wonderful kick from Comorley. Sadly, Gardner went very early for this kick. He is down, and then bang, straight to it. Singh, who didn't have a flashy first start either, but he certainly put up. Mere fact that Chris Anderson brought out the big fellas, Cairns and then Willie Mason, certainly improved this Australian outfit. This was a no try. Cairns was deemed to have knocked on when Mason tried to drop the ball through, and the kick here from Comorley, he's all quality, isn't it? Good work from Sean Briscoe, applied the pressure, but Lockyer, there was always going to be losing that football, but you could just see and you just sense the quality of the Australian side. Okay, they were a little bit slow to start with. They didn't seem to know what was happening between themselves. Chris Anderson, a very, very good coach. He knows what it's all about. He'll be saying, look, let's just take it nice and steady, a little bit more composure. We've already seen the fact that England have made 11 missed tackles, and that's not going to be easy for this English side in the second half. Australia's power is going to be hard to stop.
For half an hour, England were very, very impressive. The last 10 minutes of the half, Sean McRae, they seemed to lose their way a little bit, lose a bit of momentum. The half-time's come at the right time for them.
Well, you get that, Eddie, don't you, when you play against a classy side and a side that plays that pace all the time. I mean, we're talking about elite athletes here, and we're talking about an England A side, some kids that have played Super League. All of them have played Super League, but they're still learning their trade, really. Whereas I think the Australians, realistically, are household names back in Australia. They may not be here. But I'll tell you what, in that 40 minutes, you could take nearly every set of 6 defensively from Australia and talk about marker defence, shutting the gate on the inside, and speed of line. All great examples of defence. That's why we really haven't seen many clean breaks from the England A side just yet. It's not through the want of trying, it's just been fantastic defence. England themselves, you know, have defended very well also, and they've nullified a few of dangerous raids from Australia. But I think the kicking game of Brett Comorley has just outshaded the kicking game of Chris Thorman and Rob Burrow. But you know what, Eddie, I think England A have done well at 14-6. I thought they got away to a pretty nervous start, to be honest. You see here Mark Calderwood come across the field, didn't really need to throw that ball. Eddie Gardner loses it. Andy Lynch, in an early tackle count, turns the ball over. Martin Gleeson's got an opportunity to find the floor here. The defence does well, and it's another turnover in early tackle count. And I thought Australia really should have punished some of these. And here's an example of another outside back from Australia losing the football. And do you know what we've seen? Singh on the wing, Lewis on the wing, Calderwood and Gardner all make mistakes. I don't know if it's a winger's night or not, but certainly Matt Singh's tries made up for a hell of a lot of that.
Sean, I got the impression the Australians, they are not utilising the sliding defence. It's a man-on-man situation. Do you think that Anderson will use that all the way through the 3 tests?
I think what he's looking for, Steve-O, is to get off the line and put pressure on the ball players. And one thing's for sure, guys like Rob Burrow and Chris Thorman, Sean O'Loughlin are very skillful with the football in their hands. And they're also very good on their feet. I think what Chris is working on is work hard in the tackle, get your defensive line set, reset it well, and get off the line quick and make them make the play. Make them go outside you. If they want to throw a cutout pass, perhaps one of the centres or the wingers will pick up an intercept. And I think Chris is working on that because I feel that he must think that that's going to work well against the Great Britain side.
Interesting on the bench, 4 big forwards for Australia. They've brought 2 of them on, and Cairns and Willie Mason have made the difference. For England, Steve-O, there is Danny Maguire, there is Gareth Hock, our current Young Player of the Year. When will we see them? When will they make the impression?
I think that John Keir's got to throw them out straight away. They can't mess around. I think the combination, we know that they've done it at Leeds, haven't we, with Burrow and Maguire. We've got to get that combination doing, but I feel that the English forwards have to do a little bit more work. Remember, in the opening 15 minutes, Australia was struggling in the forwards, and it was Anderson that made that decision to bring on some big forwards, and it has turned the game the way to the Australians. We've got to try to do exactly the same, but we've got to bring Maguire on straight away.
Absolutely. We've seen a glimpse of Gareth Hock, but not much impression as yet from the Young Player of the Year. Danny Maguire, he just could be the key for John Keir and England A. We shall see. This was a moment to savour, though, wasn't it? Eddie Gardner knew where the try line was. It was 6-all after this. Then Australia just pulled away. What's in store in the second half?
Now Kias are available for just a £1 deposit.
Mount Everest Base Camp, 17,000 feet. Whose idea was this? Fortunately, with a laptop powered by Centrino, Intel's mobile technology, you can see a friendly face wirelessly from thousands of places, even if you can't feel your fingers. Intel Centrino, mobile technology.
New Ultim Fix Styling Gel. Studio Line creates unshakable hold. Highly charged styles, structured, sculptured. Ultim Fix Gel with patented fixation boosters. For L'Oreal's intense fixing power. Unshakable hold that won't let you down. It lasts for hours, long into the night. New Studio Line Ultim Fix Gel from L'Oreal. Put its strength to the test.
Because you're worth it.
When you start out in business, to give your idea every chance of success, you need to look at every angle. With Lloyd's TSB's unique business route map, we'll help you see all your strengths, the opportunities around you, and the most direct route to where you want to be. Route map, only from Lloyd's TSB.
Jane and Mary have known each other since school, but there's a big difference between them. Jane phones with Tele2, so when she calls Mary during the daytime, she only pays 2.5 pence per minute for her national call. Mary is still with British Telecom, so when she calls Jane, she pays 7.9 pence for her call. That's 3 times more. Who do you think was always better at maths? Call Tele2 free on 0800 279 5454. Tele2, why pay more?
Try new Multifruit Actimel every morning for 2 weeks and see if you feel the difference.
They're none. 6 hours ago, I was ready to give anything for you. Do you know what's changed in the last 6 hours? Nothing.
You are really ready to die for this man.
You don't think you're coming back?
I'm scared, Trin.
So am I.
If she has to, she'll kill every one of us. She's in love.
Believe it.
Everything that has a beginning has an end.
This is the next revolution in television. It's called Sky Plus, and it's now available with free subscription. Get a Sky Plus. Call now on 08702 4040 22. Sky Plus. Create your own TV channel.
Don't miss the first day of the second test between England and Bangladesh. Catch all the action live from 3:15 in the morning through to 10:30, or you can see the extended highlights from 2, and both of them are on Sky Sports 2. Second half about to get underway here at Griffin Park. England A6, Australia 14. Unexpected scoreline in many ways, but England, they have done themselves proud in the first half, and the question is whether they can keep it going in the early part of this second 40, and probably more importantly in the last 10 or 15 minutes of this match, when sadly, traditionally, British sides have fallen away in the face of the world champions from Australia. But fitness shouldn't be a problem. Young guns from the Super League, and some of them haven't played for a week or 3. So Australia will get us underway. Remember, they beat Great Britain 64-10 in Sydney in July of last year, but after the defeat in Auckland against New Zealand, who they also hammered this July, Great Britain can feel confident in an Ashes series for the first time since 1970, and they will go hunting their first Ashes victory on home soil since 19 59.
Pretty solid defence already from the Australians. Obviously, Chris Anderson has made it quite clear that he wants a little bit more, and that's an awful pass.
You got them,
was never on. And we can do better than that. Dennis Goldthorpe, far better the offload than that. Under a lot of pressure though.
Dennis Goldthorpe, he missed Wigan's playoff run-in. He made his Lancashire debut though in July in the Origin fixture.
Fully deserved.
Not too many Lancastrians want to be remembered for that.
Fully deserved it at his selection tonight. He's had a pretty good season. Oh, that's really high right across the chest. I'm afraid that
Gardner is right into the throat of Michael De Vere.
Bump. Well, we said you've got to play tough and cruel. Gardner certainly did that.
Clear.
Hard man to stop, isn't he, this Cairns?
Yes, he is. Michael De Vere also pretty tough, as is Willie Mason, who is driving the ball in here. They're underneath the sticks. 2 tackles of this set of 6 gone. Badouris to Gower, who jinks this way. Gives it then to Lockyer. Lockyer on to Kimorley. Oh, there's a hole opened up here. Back it comes inside. And they're still going, but England doing really well.
Scrambled across, worked as a unit. That was good stuff from England.
Kimorley again. This is how 2 men finds Gower. They're a bit lax on the far side. That drifted forward, did it? Luke Lewis. Referee says let the tackle count continue. England scrambling in the defensive pattern again. Coming down the short side, Badouris. Infield it comes. This is Robbie Kearns. Try for Australia. Just what England did not want.
Solid play by the forwards. Took it on but the long pass out wide. A lot of people thought perhaps it may have been forward. Gower certainly said it was okay according to the official. Good work there by Luke Lewis. And from this position, watch this. Sheer power, good work on the inside. Got the blind first, through the dummy. Nothing was going to stop him. 3 got to him. We noticed in the last 15 minutes of the first half the ability of these Kangaroos to keep the ball alive. And talking of getting things alive, this fella Cairns has certainly done that. They've been a different side since he came off the bench.
Well, Robbie Kearns, he captained the side in France on Saturday. He's the Tour vice-captain. And that's the perfect start to this second 40 minutes. Here's Fitzgibbon again. Two more points to Australia's total, courtesy of Fitzgibbon's boot. They lead now by 20 points to 6.
Pretty spot on as well, Fitzgibbon. The ability of these Australians to keep the ball alive. They held off good side. I know I keep mentioning the fact, but against Australia you've got to make sure you've got that solid one line. Even if just one just hesitates, it gives a wider gap, and they'll make you suffer. All the green and gold.
Fitzgibbon plays the ball. It's looking a little ominous for England at the start of this second 40. Great offload in the tackle. Badouris gets it away. Hegarty.
See how the Aussies want to play the ball ever so quickly.
This is Gower.
They're playing the ball before some of the English players are back on that 10.
England will have to try and slow that, play the ball up if they can legally. The kick to the corner, there's problems here for Gardner. Look at the chase.
Square locking. Don't jump.
Right, I wonder what was said at half-time. We have 2 reporters on the side. Chris Warren's with Australia. Bill is with the English.
Eddie, John Keir, not surprisingly, really proud of the effort his youngsters showed in that first half. He knows that this early part of the second half is going to be a very big challenge for the players. They were certainly standing up and being counted in the first half, but whether they can maintain that effort in this period is the key question for the England youngsters. He's very pleased with the defensive effort from his side. The kicking game could do with a bit of attention. That's what they're looking to improve. And Thorman there with that kick, he's a key figure in that department. The kick and the chase is what John Keir is hoping for an improvement. Let's hear the Australian news. Here's Chris Warren.
It's a happy Australian camp at half-time. A very controlled performance by their men. I am told from their camp that it's a much improved performance from that against the French side in Carcassonne. Chris Anderson yesterday said that these matches, it's all about getting ready for that first test. And you talk about depth of the Australian lineup. Sure, there's a number out injured, but there's still a lot of healthy competition within this squad. Sitting behind me, players that haven't made tonight's team, Craig Wing, Anthony Minicello and Shane Webke. They've got to force their way into this side, so there's still a lot up for grabs for that first test. The news on Brett Kimmorley, yes, he has broken his nose, but certainly can play on with that. Kimmorley's okay, and he will play on.
It's only a broken nose, Eddie.
This is a fearsome sight, Robbie Kearns. Here's Kimmorley with the broken nose, and Willie Mason, another of the huge forwards from Australia, and they spread it wide to Lockyer. Bullet pass, great ball on the inside, and this is Waterhouse. He is stopped though, but for how much longer can England hang on? Driving run in here by Crocker. Good defence though from England.
Got to watch Badouris. Will he do the dummy? No, out wide.
To Gower. And Gower then to Mason, who'll pound it up the middle, and Loughlin stood his ground. And Willie Mason is hurt, is he?
Sure is. That was a big hit from Loughlin.
This is Lockyer. Back again it goes. Gower, flick pass out the back door. And Waterhouse once more, looking for the support. It's there on the bounce. Badouris, brilliant. That is brilliant play. And Crocker with the try. They just kept the ball alive. They wouldn't die with it. And England had no answer then. Michael Crocker with the try. But the speed in which Australia handled the ball then and kept it alive, breathtaking.
Certainly was, the ability to keep it. There you see there, Craig Gower. Waterhouse, the strength. Okay, it went backwards, but the support play. It has been a feature of the Australians for many, many years. Talk about the fact that it was going to take a while for them to get a lot of team spirit, saw themselves out, but that proves just one thing there. They are getting nearer and nearer to the level that they need. They know it's not going to be easy against the Great Britain boys. And Croker in for a try. And sadly to say, England look a little bit draggled in their defensive quality, and well, surely John Keir now will bring on Danny Maguire. They need something just to lift their spirits. He's a man that perhaps that can do it, especially with a combination with his regular halfback Burrow.
Another great kick from Fitzgibbon. 26-6. Two quick tries, start of this second half. Australia now beginning to stretch away. Michael Crocker. It was a terrific try. He got two from Hooker against the French on Saturday night. They were his first tries for Australia. And Adrian Morley, no less, saying that Michael Crocker, his Sydney Roosters teammate, just might be the one to watch on this tour of 2003.
Try all of them.
Thorman with no number on the back gets us going again. England must try and stem the tide now.
Well, David Wade doesn't need warning about the fact that Willie Mason and Cairns have really just ripped into this English defence.
And they have scored a couple of tries, Steve-O, when the English have been penalised either inside or just outside their own half. You cannot surrender possession to them via the referee's whistle. Here's Kimmorley. Good strong run up the middle, bravely, that broken nose. Badouris. Lockyer, high kick. This is a tester for Sean Briscoe. Just deep.
Had his eyes on it at all time.
Well, Chris Anderson, watching there, 18 wins from 21 international matches. since he took over in 1999.
Big problems for Danny Tickle. He's limped back.
Come to me and lock in.
Back into his own quarter.
Don't forget the battle for the Ashes takes us to Wigan on the 8th, Hull on the 15th. That's the only test match so far sold out. 22nd we go to Huddersfield. If you need any information about the test match series, 0113-232-911, the information line of the Rugby Football League, and they are open for business first thing in the morning. That's good play. England doing in Australia there, offloading the ball. Great ball from Burrow to Briscoe, and Burrow, and good hands again, but great defence, and Radford Hall down. But England flooding forward and getting into the try with Aspinwall. That's what the doctor ordered. Martin Aspinwall, a regular for Wigan this year, on the fringe of test honours, you would think, and that's a fine try. Well created by England.
Good effort. Took on the defence and offloaded very, very well indeed. Barrow back on the inside. Oh, this is great support play, isn't it? Briscoe did everything right. They got back in numbers, but look how the numbers went out on the left-hand side on the short. That is great play. There's nothing you can stretch the Australians. They did it to perfection there. Aspinwall, good finish. Well set up though by Rob Barrow. Kept it moving all the time.
Aspinwall, just what England needed to respond to those two quick efforts from Australia. And Chris Thorman with the opportunity to add the extras, but a difficult kick for him. It's way out on the left-hand touchline. It's on its way, but it's drifting the wrong side of the post. 26 points to 10. Australia lead.
That was a tremendous effort. Good support play, but you can see I mentioned the fact that it's very rare you get the Australians stretched. And they got the overlap. Look at that, 4-on-2. Always going to be a try. Aspinwall had a great season. No doubt in the mind of Glenn Black as well.
Yes, Aspinwall has had a great season. He's missed only 2, but he missed England A recognition last year because of a virus.
Look in square, hold.
Hegarty all over the English there. Down to Sean McRae on the sideline. They didn't want to concede those 2 early tries, Sean, but they've bottled back.
Yeah, I think they have to, Eddie. I mean, it's a case then of not being run over by the Australians, and you've got to sort of take your chances a little bit and throw the ball around. But the good thing about not only throwing the ball around was they all pushed up and they created a lot of space and they finished off very well. But you know what? I think that Darren Lockyer kick on the 30th minute mark that went dead was probably the first mistake from the Australians in the first 10 minutes of that half, and they'd been exemplary up until then, and consequently have come up with a couple of tries. And if they continue to do that, then they could rattle up a lot of points. However, England A have got a great chance now to get back into the game. I think they need another score to lift their enthusiasm again. As long as they can hold Australia for a little while and slow them down, I think that's the key. Australia are playing at a greater pace than England A, making a lot of yards, and coming up with some easy options with the football and giving them an ability to keep the ball alive, and we've seen some wonderful skill level from them.
Well, we have waited for the appearance of Danny Maguire, and he has come on. He's replaced Sean Briscoe at fullback, and he played fullback, or at least he was named as fullback for Leeds against Wigan in the playoffs. Thorman putting Kim Hawley under pressure there as he tried to stab the kick through.
Did well there. All the best from Kim Hawley.
That's a good run from Gardner.
They've lifted England.
That try has done them the world of good. Here's Mickey Hyam.
And good work from John Keir. That's the point where you bring on one of your star players.
There's Gareth Hock.
Get up him! Hold.
And he didn't play the ball standing square.
You're sideways.
That really has, that penalty really has taken a bit of the sting out of the English.
On the line.
Big miss.
To go for it. I think in the end he's looking towards, drift this ball towards Sacco.
He comes inside, and there it is. Maybe. Look at that, head down, concentration. You may be right, Rob. That was heading on its way. Did him an injustice.
It's Kelly with a corner. Really dealt with it. Seth Johnson, though, beaten to the punch by Diego Forlan. Kelly on bidding to get forward in support. He's found Jemba. Milner really has got through some work for Leeds. Phil Neville.
Tackle, last one. Singh, Lockyer. There's the kick through. Oh, he positioned himself well. Did Danny Tickle?
One.
Ready perfectly.
Well, was the move to bring Maguire on, and he's in possession here right now. Was it an injury? Sorry, that's Gareth Hock. Was it an injury to Sean Briscoe or what, Bill?
Yeah, Eddie, I don't think it's exactly the way that John Keir wanted the change to come, because Sean Briscoe has taken a bit of a bang. He was involved in a heavy tackle. He's just feeling a little bit groggy at the moment, so they had to bring him off and put Maguire on. As I say, not exactly the way they'd planned it, but certainly Briscoe being acquitting himself very well at full-back. Maguire's no slouch either, though.
Kick was straight into the arms of Matt Singh on this touchline here, and a good chase led by Mickey Hyam.
Holding.
Good tackle as well on the wing of Singh.
Here's De Vere.
Big problem yet again after that, the last 5 minutes. A lot of enthusiasm shown by England, but there's quite a few moving up. Some are hanging back. They look a little bit fatigued.
Michael Crocker playing a big part in this second half. Badeiros. Lockyer loves to chime into the line at every opportunity. Oh, and they've conceded another penalty. Second effort there by Danny Tickle.
Won't please the coach John Keir either, because you could see, and you could also hear the official saying 4-4, let him play, and then he just goes and pushes him away.
You want me?
Well, each time it seems that England have conceded a penalty in this situation. They have also conceded a try soon after, and this is the first run from Sivanasiva. They're coming forward here in the shape of Robbie Kearns again.
Short.
What a game he's had.
Lost the ball.
Lost it. Yeah, thank you for the call.
Robbie Kearns has lost the ball.
He's worked hard. Little doubt in my mind he'll feature in the test. Got to him. Hock was over the top. Wasn't briefed out. Was lost by that fella.
England breathe a sigh of relief.
You're holding.
That attack was building in momentum.
Line.
Gleeson trying to get to his feet.
Same as game.
And Gower just had a push at him as he tried to get to his feet to play the ball.
You could also see that Gleeson pumps the ball down first. You've got to regain your feet first. They've got to get this sorted out. I'm sure David Waite's fully aware.
Robbie.
It's a penalty like that you give away. Either way, they can just turn the game.
Maguire, skips away from two. Danny Maguire. Great offload to Rob Burrow. Burrow thought about flicking the pass to Lee Radford. Thought better of it.
Trying to milk the penalty as well.
Two. Find me green.
England wanted to play the ball quickly as well. That's good stuff.
Mickey Hyam now attacking the line. Gets the ball away to Thorman. Good play from England.
Three, I'm here. I keep coming. You're finding me here.
Very slow Australia first and second mark. In first half they were brilliant at it.
Here's Burrow. This now is Radford.
This is where Maguire should come in. Throw the step. Take the defence on.
They went backwards. It's play on. Mickey Hyam almost in. Right underneath the sticks. There is Maguire. There's the pass to Thorman. There's the kick to the in-goal area. And I think they're in here in the shape of Gleeson.
They sure are.
Jeff, we'll just have a look.
He wants to see if he's onside, but he got it down perfectly.
Onside and grounding.
Well, what a wonderful effort from the English boys.
Went to fucking catch the ball and went to touch his stuff.
Maguire puts a kick through, or is it Thorman, shall I say? No doubt about that at all. This will be TRY. And listen to the crowd here.
Try for Gleeson. Try for England. Perfect response from the young Englishman here.
And fully deserved. He's had a big game as this fella, Martin Gleeson.
Well, it just is an indication, Steve, of how strong the British squad is, that men like Gleeson and Paul Wellens can be omitted from the British squad, and Gleeson in particular brought into John Keir's England.
You've also got to make sure that David Waite gets some praise as well, because he knows what Gleeson is capable of. And he was all at sea at certain times during the Super League season. But he has shown tonight that he's eager for it, he's up for it.
And he could easily have taken his bat and ball home and said, I don't want to play for England, I only want to play for Great Britain. But he hasn't done that. Well done to him.
Well, no player should do that.
Kicks on its way. That's successful. 26-16. But England are clawing their way back into this. Gleeson's try. Converted by Thorman again. The gap is down to 10.
There's a neat kick as well by Thorman. Put him under pressure. Little chip into the corner there. But rare you see Darren Lockyer get caught out of position. That's how good a quality a kick it was from the standoff.
Well, England have got their tails up now.
One! Lock in, square, roll out!
And the last quarter of the match we're into, by the way.
Now then, will that have stung the tail of the Kangaroos? We'll have to wait and see. Good set of 6 here by England is needed. Then the good kick and chase. Try to force the error.
That was a big hit on Danny Sculthorpe.
Well, it's a wonderful effort by England. 5 or 10 minutes before the half-time break, they looked all at sea, they looked tired, but now they've got it back.
Thorman, that's a great kick. It just skipped away from him, and Lockyer was able to tidy up for Australia. Here's Matt Singh again.
Good option as well there from Thorman. Often see that a lot of people, they criticise him because he's very much an individual player, but against good quality defence like this, that's the sort of thing you need. That's why it surprised me that Maguire didn't start this second half.
Kimorley flicks it back to Sivanasiva. Sivanasiva looking to offload, but Harris to the ground there by Danny Sculthorpe. Kimorley. That's a good kick. It just bounces into the in-goal area, and a great chase as well as Gleeson managed to get the ball over the line. He has.
What an effort. What a game Gleeson's having tonight. Not only in attack, but also in defence. He's worked overtime. He's gone looking for the football as well. He'd have made more yardage forward than any of the 3 quarters tonight.
Let's go down to the side and Bill.
Bit of a problem for England. Mickey Hyam, who's been a real live wire since he came on for England, has just in that last tack in the build-up, in fact, to that Gleeson try, Hyam went very close and went over on his left wrist, and he's banged it very badly indeed, but he's hoping he's going to be able to come back. He's got it iced up at the moment.
Rob Burrow there with a typical jinking run, just surrendering the possession. Here come the Aussies again in the shape of De Vere. Matt Singh waits at dummy half. Here is Robbie Kearns. Then he offloads the ball in the tackle. There was an English hand in there. And it's play on. This is Kimorley. Gower. Still going Gower, still going Gower. Great second effort from him.
They'll be going for the legs. Play on.
And the referee says that the ball was lost. It's a knock on.
And he did.
Was there something there as he tried to get to his feet?
Well, Thorman, I think it goes back. No, it's not Thorman.
That was Tickle in the tackle.
There's no ball,
I think you'll find it may have been Hock. He was just on his way back. By the way, England's headed ball. And will they do something different? Kick and chase. Nope.
Here's Gleeson again. Hegarty gets him upstairs, Gower downstairs.
That's the sort of play you've got to be looking for against Australia. Once they're moving up very, very quickly, maybe from the scrum base, if you've got the speed, then kick on the first. Let's get out of there on quarter.
Lynch, he took a chance there and he got away with it. He spreads the ball wide as Burrow. This is Aspinwall again. Good tackle by De Vere. Burrow waits at dummy half. Here's Danny Sculthorpe now, driving it in once more. Oh, he loses the ball, does he? Yes, he does. And Ricketson dived on it bravely.
Fletcher. Oh, that's risky with Chapuis there. Johnson. Eagles. Now, Fletcher. Phil Neville. Fletcher. Nicky Butt. Bellion.
Again, Tickle comes to the rescue. He reads the game well, doesn't he?
Aidy Gardner.
A lot of forwards, you know, they don't read the game as well when they're having to the hard-working defence. He reads it, goes back, helps the full back.
Diskin again, gives it then to Lynch. Lynch offloads to Maguire, and support arrives from Thorman. And Thorman taking them on. Wide it goes. There's a chance here for Calderwood. Gleeson. Thorman. Wide again. Gleeson. No one outside him. Comes back this way. Thorman. Then on to Maguire. Long ball from Maguire. It's Radford. He's got Kimorley round him. Gets it away to Aspinwall. Aspinwall steps out of one challenge.
Super play by England. Full credit to them. They're looking more confident at the moment.
Diskin slides the kick through. It's bouncing all over the show. Oh. So close. So close. But Lockyer managed to flick it dead.
Well, he thought he grounded it, but it just made sure. Good work by Thorman yet again. Mentioned the fact that big problem by Australia in the first and second marker division. They were absolutely superb in that first 40. Let's go. Now they're a little bit lackadaisical. It's a good job that Lockyer, he knew he'd missed it to actually ground the ball in goal.
Sean, what a response from England.
Oh, fantastic, Eddie. You know, when you up the tempo a little bit and you get some points on the board, isn't it amazing about your enthusiasm levels? And England A at the moment are a lot more enthusiastic than the Australian side. We've seen them go from being the team that was fatiguing to the team that's finishing stronger. And the Australian side now are under a lot of pressure. There's been a couple of players out there from Australia that have been there for a long, long time, and they're looking like they need a rest. With all this pressure coming now, it wouldn't surprise me to see England A get back on the scoreboard and really put some pressure on for the finish of this game.
Aspinwall to Thorman. Thorman then to Andy Lynch. That was knocked backwards, surely. 6 to go. 6 to go. Surely. No, he says no. So Maguire with the kick, looking for Calderwood. And another set of 6 coming up. Lockyer to the rescue again.
Well, since Maguire's come out on the field of play, we mentioned the fact that the two half-back combination, Thorman and Barrow, they've certainly enjoyed him being around there. Good pressure applied by Calderwood. Again, the little kick through. Lockyer under all sorts of pressure. They are taking the time of the Kangaroos.
Well, I tell you what, Steve, I've said a few times in commentary this year, Danny Maguire may be the young man to win the Ashes for Britain one day. I wonder whether he's doing enough here in the short space of time he's been on to give David Waite a nudge. Oh, and talking of a nudge, Danny Sculthorpe rather, is involved there.
And there was no handbags there, I can tell you. Craig Gower got a few in. It was a late one from Gower. Sculthorpe didn't like it. When he got up to play the ball, he had a real good lash. This is the incident. Watch Gower coming late. No doubt about it. Right across the face. Danny said, I don't like that. Boom. That's one. That was one good right. No silk purses hanging around in the handbag there. That was one whack. And the guy out Paul Cullen saying, give it to him, boys. He's loving it more than I am.
I think he's actually saying, let's calm it down, boys. But
oh, you're kidding. He's saying, if he's doing that, he'll be winking. Let's calm it. Wink, wink. Give it to him.
I think someone's on his way to the sin bin here.
I think they'll both go.
Esgower takes a walk and Sculthorpe will take a walk. 10 minutes in the bin.
Well, it should be a penalty to England. No doubt in my mind that it was Gower that started it all with that late one.
Well, they won't have much longer to be involved in the match, those two. Maybe the last minute, that will be all.
You want me?
2 in the bin then, both sides down to 12, and here comes Danny Tickle for England. There is spice in this match, there is life in the English. Here is Burrow, scampering almost through, and Badeiros with a desperate tackle and almost drilling the little fellow into the ground. Maguire steps away from De Vere, gets the ball away to Radford, it's gone backwards, flicked that in. Oh, the referee gives the knock-on against England. Well, I think that's a harsh call.
I certainly think so too. That didn't look at all as though it was a knock-on. Radford, well, he looks absolutely amazed.
Well, he said it went off a green jumper, went forward onto a green jumper.
It certainly did.
Am I sure you hit him?
He didn't like it, John Keir, and neither did I.
Did you hear him? Yep. Did you hear him? One more.
Not surprisingly, Anderson's taken off Sivan Asiva, who struggled throughout, even though he's had 2 attempts in this one. But look at that defence. Did he lose it? I think he did. He's got away with it.
That was terrific defence there.
Do you know the Aussies are losing their cool? You don't often see that. They're complaining to the referee. They're hanging on.
It's a spirited England, but this is a great run from Badeiros. Support out wide is from Hegarty. He flicks the pass inside. It's Crocker again.
They're trying to hold him down.
Or was it Luke Lewis? Doesn't matter, because here comes Joel Clinton.
Holding.
4 tackles gone. Australia trying to take the sting out of this English side with Ricketson. Goes inside 1, looking to offload, wrestle to the ground. Lockyer, Kim Hawley, long kick out wide. Oh, and Calderwood, if he hadn't touched that, it'll be a knock-on against him.
It'll be a head and feed to the Kangaroos. But we've seen enough in this game, and I'm sure David Waite has as well, that the kicking game from Brett Kamali is going to be one heck of an advantage for the Kangaroos when it comes to the test. 11 days' time.
Calderwood just stuck out a right arm instinctively then. Got a flick on it, that's why Australia would have another set of 6.
He was away as well, there was no one at home. Lockyer was up in the attacking line.
Here is Lockyer. Here is Hegarty. Oh, that's a big error on the first tackle.
It's getting to them. And full credit to this England side.
Well, in days gone by, 2 quick tries from the Kangaroos start of the second half.
Gone.
Folded. Yeah, finished. Not this England team.
Capitulate in the final quarter. We've been saying it all the time I've been working with you. In fact, at times I think you're to blame. Not taking anything away from the Australian quality, but you've got to admire the way that these England boys, they have really stuck it into them.
10 points the gap. There's 7.5 minutes left for play. Tickle spreads it wide. Gleeson, and Gleeson makes the break, and Calderwood's winning. He tries to take on Lockyer, dumps the ball back into the arms of Diskin. Here is Thorman. Oh, knock on by Kim Hawley.
He'll get head and feet. That was sheer desperation there by the halfback Kamali. They had the numbers out wide. What a night Martin Gleeson's had.
Here's someone else who's knocking on the door for David Waite.
It was offered as a possibility for any of these guys to really show and shine against the might of the Aussies. And tonight, all of them can stand up and feel very proud indeed.
Gleeson's off again, and he gets the ball away to Maguire. And Maguire gives it then to Tickle.
A million
And Tickle is halted.
Will we see a special from Danny Maguire?
Lynch gets away, and again, just held up short, Willie Mason. Giskin underneath the post, England. Burrow. Maguire. Still Danny Maguire. Just losing him. I was going to say losing momentum a bit now. Maguire. Desperate tackle from Lockyer.
What a try that would have been.
Lynch has scored for England.
What an effort.
Andy Lynch scores for the English. Maguire tormented them, and the gap appeared, and the Castleford Tigers prop forward plunges over the line. Andy Lynch crowning a fantastic year.
Who would have thought it? No one give them any chance whatsoever. And Danny Maguire has come up with one of the most wonderful breaks you've ever seen. It's a long time since I've seen any British player jink his way through an Australian defence like that, and Lynch fully deserved it. He's worked hard, they went high on him, and they're in tatters of the Kangaroos.
Because Thorman has added the extras. It's 26-22, 4 points the difference, and England here with a sniff of glory. Fantastic effort from England A. Remember, it's 25 years since the Kangaroos were last beaten outside the Test series in this country. And England A have the scent of history. They've got 5 minutes or thereabouts.
Unbelievable stuff. And Martin Gleeson, take a bow. He's had 3 clean breaks, he's had 7 offloads. We don't normally see that from a prop forward. This guy has run himself to water tonight.
They're trying to spread it wide, and this is Aspinwall. Flying tackle from Kimorley.
And you've got to look at those two yet again. Rob Burrow, Danny Maguire, the Leeds combination. Can they do it again?
Tickle, and he had Hegarty right in his face. Here's Burrow. He's gone for the big kick, 40-20.
No penalties, White.
And Matt Singh, is he going to have to run this ball out? Yes, he is. And look at the English chase. We are 4 minutes away from the end of an international, and England are finishing the stronger. They are up for this now, England.
Listen to the crowd. England, England, England. They've turned it around. 2 quick tries from Kearns and Crocker. It looked as if it was all over.
Here's Willie Mason. Gareth Fox sticking to him like glue. That's the last. They're not out their own half yet. They will be here courtesy of the kick of Lockyer, and that will run too deep. Luke Lewis was herring after it, but the kick was far too deep.
3 minutes remaining for England to turn this game upside down.
Here's Gleeson again. What a match. Oh, what an offload to Gardner, his teammate. 3 minutes remaining. Can England snatch it at the death? Drive forward here by the prop forward, Rob Parker.
You talk about someone wanting to work all the time. A tap on the 22 instead of a forward. Who takes it but Martin Gleeson?
Oh, he was nearly through then.
Here we are.
Danny Tickle it was. Here's Burrow. And Burrow!
Line! Get off him!
Important tackle that was. Thorman. Infield it goes, Gleeson again. Oh, he offloaded that. And that's a gift to the Australians in the shape of Willie Mason.
Well, you can't blame him, Eddie. They're 4 points adrift. They have to do something. They know that the clock's going to be against them.
Yeah, they've got a chance they're on.
Of course they are. Certainly can proportion the blame against Gleeson there.
This is Ricketson on halfway. Hegarty gets the ball outside to Lewis. Harassed by this English defence. He's on his way to the touch. He's in touch.
He's on his way to the crowd. What a proud man he must feel, John Keir.
This has set the Test series up remarkably. It really has. This spirited show from England
Make sure they're on you, please,
has shown the way forward for Great Britain.
Let's go.
And the big boys watching will be saying there could be somebody taking my position.
Gareth Hock needing treatment. That will be cramp.
Make sure there's no pills. Make sure they're on.
Don't forget, the Ashes series kicks off at Wigan on the 8th of November. It's live on Sky Sports 1 from 6. And then each Saturday for the next 3 weeks. And on the 22nd of November, somebody will take home the Ashes trophy. But for the first time in years and years and years, Great Britain have got a chance. These young Englishmen are proving that beyond a shadow of a doubt.
And Chris Thorman has played his part. That a big second half.
It's England who are finishing the stronger.
Big problem that they have, I'm talking about the Great Britain squad, Eddie, is the fact that they won't have as hard a games as what Australia have into the build-up. This has been a good test for them, the Aussies.
That's a great little chip over the top. Lockyer, though, picks it up. And I think that Australia now will win the match.
It could have gone either way.
How long to go?
Inside the last minute, we have 35 seconds remaining.
And I would have thought you'd see a Kangaroo side quite happy to just play the ball slowly and surely and let the clock save them.
Here I am.
Stand up, you England boys. You have done your country proud.
Willie Mason, no way through.
Hold here.
John Keir, the coach, will be a very proud man tonight, and rightly so. Ricketson to halfway. This will be the last tackle of the international, and Kim Hawley is content to hammer the ball dead. To Australia the victory, to England the glory. A remarkable second half. They were hit by 2 quick tries in the opening 7 minutes, but then Gleeson and company, they hit back with 3 tries of their own in a glorious 13-minute spell. England have lost, but boy, they have won some admirers here in London tonight. And the Kangaroos have held on for victory by just 4 points. Let's hear from the England coach, John Keir. He must be a proud man. He's with Bill.
John, I think the reception your players are getting really does sum up what a fantastic effort that has been from a young England side.
Well, one of the things we said, we weren't going to die wondering, and we're going to be aggressive in defence, have a great kick chase, and when we got the ball in hand, we're going to ask some questions, and I think they've done that. I think they've done themselves and the country proud.
Have they exceeded your expectations tonight?
No, they're a good football team. We're a very good football team. We've got some great young players coming through, and these kids in 3 or 4 years' time, they'll be very special players indeed, and who says we've got no British halfbacks?
They're very special already after tonight's performance, and 1 or 2 of them might, well, more than 1 or 2 will have put their hands up, and maybe David Waite will have been watching.
Well, I hope David has been watching. I'm sure he will have been, and I'm sure he'll have been delighted with what he's seen. And there's a lot of lads here who just died to play for Great Britain. They've died to play for England. They've loved it, and they do their country justice as well at the next level up.
Thanks, John. Well done.
Absolute pleasure, Bill. Cheers, mate.
He's a very proud Englishman, is John Keir. And this English side, England A, remember, to give them their full title. They are receiving a terrific ovation from the crowd here at Griffin Park, and so they should. They have come so close to winning this international match. And men like Thorman, Burrow, Gleeson, Maguire, just to name a few, they really have nudged David Waite. Will he bring them in to the British side?
The Saturday movie premiere with share-size Coca-Cola.
When was the last time you were in Vegas?
Won a knockover casino.
4-0, but it took the Wolves next to no time to go in front. Mick Govin, one of 9 teenagers on duty, getting on the end of Jamie Durbin's kick, and Nick Owen converted. Paul Cullen was without the likes of Paul Wood, Lee Breers, Ian Sibbott, Mike Wainwright and Rob Smythe, all on international duty, and the Warrington coach must have been impressed with his young Scarlets, who scored twice in the space of 5 minutes halfway through the first half. A bread and butter try from Steve Warburton, followed by a score from Nick Owen, and by half-time it was 22-4. Tommy Grundy, another off the teenage production line, scoring possibly the pick of the first half tries. The Kiwis, who'd drawn with Cumbria and lost to a National League 2 select side in their previous 2 matches, started the second half as they did the first with a quick-fire try. Louis Sione, the scorer. Warrington, though, always had the tourists at arm's length. Captain Darren Burns, a positive veteran in this side at 28, sent Jamie Durbin over to put the Wolves clear at 28-10. But in fairness, New Zealand A refused to roll over, and in the end gave the Wolves a real fright. Substitute Johnny Limmer scored just after the hour mark, and a late double from winger Paul Pisiahi almost snatched a draw. A missed conversion from Steve Buckingham proved the difference in the end. New Zealand A had given themselves just too much to do as they chased that elusive first win on tour, but if the match had lasted 5 minutes longer, who knows?
First half didn't go our way, so just too many drop balls and complete our 6. So yeah, just like you say, if it was extra 5 minutes, probably take it up.
We are learning, and we're learning a different style of rugby league as well, and just slightly different interpretations of what we're used to at the play of the ball. Our boys are starting to deal with it, and I think in the second half they started to implement the strategies that we set them before the game, which I was pleased with. And I guess if you look at the 3 stages of the game, I thought we finished strongly, which I was looking for. The first part of the game, I thought we had an excellent start. We just let it slip in the middle stages a little.
This tour is all part of the learning curve for the young Kiwis. The reality is they're likely to be taught a few harsh lessons by Great Britain tonight.
Well, that's the plan anyway for Great Britain, I'm sure. But the New Zealand A team played 3, drawn 1, lost 2. That's their record coming into this match at Headingley. Right, let's take a check on the team lineups now. Chris Warren has drawn the short straw. He is with the New Zealand A team, and pronunciation would be a problem for all of us tonight. But first of all, down to Bill, who is with Great Britain.
Eddie, as you've already mentioned, no Paul Sculthorpe tonight. He was due to captain the side in the absence of Andy Farrell, but he's got a minor calf injury. They're not going to risk him, so that honour goes to Chris Radlinski. And the other change is that Gary Connolly, who was due to be on the bench for Great Britain, he's got a bit of an upset stomach. So Terry Newton comes in, and he's still celebrating the birth of his first child last week. He missed the training camp to Spain. Lucky lad in some ways, although we did have to seek refuge in a few bars, I have to say, Eddie. So the Great Britain side looks like this, with that fullback Chris Radlinski, who will captain the side. The wingers are David Hodgson and Stuart Reardon. In the centres, Richard Horne and Keith Senior, Kevin Sinfield at 6 and Sean Long at 7. Now in the forwards for Great Britain, Stuart Fielden and Barry McDermott the props. Ryan Hudson is the hooker, and in the second row, Adrian Morley and Gareth Ellis, with Lee Gilmore just signed for St Helens at loose forward. And on the bench for Great Britain, Paul Woods, big night for him, Terry Newton, Paul Deacon and Paul Anderson, and the coach, David Waite.
Well, reporting on the camp from New Zealand A, Eddie, hopefully I'll be okay with the pronunciations. I played with a team back in '93. They were all Maori, so we'll give it our best shot. On a serious note, though, don't read too much into the 3 games they've played already, I am told. Okay, this is the match they've been building up to. Their 2 big problems have been indiscipline, and also they've been getting off to very slow starts. You look at the Cumbria match, they were down by 24 points to 0. They piled on 24 points in the back 12 minutes to settle for that draw. In the second game, they conceded 18 penalties to 7 against. You can't do that and get away with a win. And then in the third game, they were down by 28 points to 10, came back to 28 points to 26. I'm told the last couple of days are the best preparation they've had all tour, and they're expecting to give these guys a shake. Okay, we can't really draw a comparison with the England A team. They are full of young stars, the professional stars in Super League. Let's not forget this New Zealand A team. They are all amateurs, and that's the whole purpose of this trip, is to help the development in this team. A number of these guys are signing contracts or have signed contracts to go to the Australian National Rugby League next season. That's what this tour is all about, and I don't think the bookmakers 60 point plus is a fair representation of this game. Let's have a look at the team sheets then, and at fullback is one of their most experienced in Lucy Sion, On the wings is Vili Apaula. He's on one wing. On the other is Tami Tupau. In the centres, two players who are both headed off to the NRL. We have Nigel Tumoli, partnered by Harley Vaasa. Number 6 is Gavin Bailey. He's their skipper. And Steve Buckingham, who played a couple of games back in 1997 for the Auckland Warriors. The forward pack then for New Zealand A. Up front is Wayne McDade. He's one prop. Tyrone Powell the other. Johnny Limmer, he's at hooker. In the second row, this player's off to Penrith Panthers, I'm told, next year. Jesse Royal alongside Lance Poker. And at the back of the scrum, keep an eye on this guy. They tell me he's got a very, very big future. He's currently with the New Zealand Warriors squad. He's only 18 years of age. It is Hami Lawaki. The bench then for New Zealand A, George Tuakura, Sanabi Fauatala, Carl Edmondson and Walter Mackey. They're coached by the man who assisted Gary Freeman last year. It is Gerard Stokes.
Well done, Chris. We hope that Steve-O and I can get our teeth around those names as well as you have done over the next 80 minutes. But as he was running through the New Zealand A side there, Andy Farrell turned to me and said, well, if some of these lads have been signed up by the NRL clubs, they must be pretty good players. And I suppose they are, but youngsters and still learning their trade.
The youngsters are still learning the trade, and it's a fantastic experience for themselves as well. But if they're being signed up by NRL clubs, there's something about them.
Well, not long ago, a New Zealand A side was beaten 108 points to 0 by Australia. Will it be as such a cakewalk for Great Britain tonight?
No, I don't think so. I think that Great Britain will win quite convincingly. I do know one thing, that you'll be hearing me tonight calling out the numbers a lot more than what their names are, that is for sure. So please bear with me if I say it's number 7, number 6, number 5, or maybe all the way through to number 13. Either way, they'll give a good account of themselves. As Chris has just mentioned, they have built up towards this big game. It is for the future of rugby league, and we've got to give them the opportunity. And let's hope, as I said before, that these forwards especially, they're rough and tough. The New Zealanders are always like that, and I reckon in the first 15-20 minutes, we could have a bit of fireworks.
We probably could, but as Steve-O said a little bit earlier on, don't count your fingers. Don't count your fingers before they're hatched, is it?
I hate the chicken. I just hate that chicken one. At least I know I've got 10. Or is that 8 with 2 thumbs? I'm not right sure. Can't even get that right now.
Okay, well, it's pretty humorous. Well, you could call it humorous up here in the studio, but it's serious business for Great Britain coming up. It is their big warm-up match for the Ashes Test Series.
Unbelievably lucky. To these people, privacy is paramount.
Stop videotaping! You're not kidding me, please stop!
Money is no object.
Jennifer Lopez is an economy unto herself.
VH1 offers you the chance to scratch and sniff beneath the surface of the obscenely rich and famous. The fabulous life of...
You're not going to get into it.
Every Wednesday at 10:30 on VH1.
At college or university, you can do what you love every day. For your free higher education info pack, call 0800 587 8500. Don't stop, aim higher.
An inspiring scent and the sensuous feeling of silk next to your skin. Deodorant has never felt better. New Nivea Deodorant Silk.
Lay back, relax, and let the groove move you. Let the groove move you. Move it now. My pupils!
Lève plus moi. Silicon is love.
Moto tells all, Moto shows all, Moto sees all.
Atomic gossip fuels human interaction.
Silicon is love. Hear no evil, see no evil.
Pixelated romance.
Moto tells all, Moto shows all.
Hello, Moto.
Got something you want to share? Then do it with Alpha Telecom. With Alpha, you can talk to the world from only 2p. Opening your Alpha account is easy. There's no need to change your phone, line or number. Call free now on 0800 915 3000 and talk to the world from only 2p. With Alpha, you can pay by credit or debit card or with cash at PayPoints nationwide. Alpha Telecom. Live life to the full. Share your experience. Call free now on 0800 915 3000.
Dare to dazzle from every angle.
New Glam Shine Holographic for lips with multicolour tones and vibrant shine. New Glam Shine Holographic from L'Oreal.
The Dymo Label Writer prints perfect labels faster and easier than ever before. For envelopes, packages, name badges, diskettes, CDs, anything you need to label. Dymo Label Writer connects directly to your PC or Mac. Create your own labels from templates supplied, or design yourself. Select, click, print. It's easy. No fuss, no waste, and no messy ink cartridges. Just perfect self-adhesive labels every time. Contact your office supplier or visit dymo.co.uk now.
In your face.
How can you cook an egg?
These are questions everyone knows the answer to. Problem is, eventually, you run out of answers. In your face. In your face, a game of questions, answers, and timing.
At college or university, you can do what you love every day. For your free higher education info pack, text AH to 80800. Don't stop. Aim higher.
Grab your mobile and spread some love. Just text the word poem to the number 8181 and we'll send you one of our romantic love poems. So text poem to 8181.
Get down to Argos right now and get a free £5 gift voucher when you spend £50 or a £10 voucher when you spend £100. Hurry, offer ends Sunday.
Or in other words, the pick of the English youngsters knocking around the Super League at the moment. And there is the England dressing room. Do you know, not one member of this side was born when the Kangaroos were last beaten by a game outside the Test arena in this country. It was October the 25th, 1978, when Widnes beat the Aussies 11-10 at Norton Park. Doug Lawton was player-coach that day. Almost 25 years to the day, and that's the sort of pressure that this Australian side is under. They lost 30 points to 16 to New Zealand 10 days ago. They didn't look convincing in beating the French on Saturday. People are tipping Great Britain to win the Ashes. But we shall see. The English boys can give the Great Britain side a real boost tonight with a good performance. Briscoe is the fullback. Calderwood, Gleeson, Aspinwall, Gardner. Thorman is alongside Burrow. The forwards, Lynch, Diskin, Parker, Tickle, Radford, and O'Loughlin is the captain. And on the bench for England A, we have Maguire, Hock, Hyam, and Danny Sculthorpe, and the coach is John Keir. This is the way the Australians line up. Almost a test side. Lockyer at fullback, Singh, Hegarty, De Vere, and Lewis, Gower, and Kimorley. The forwards, Clinton, Baduras, Sivanasiva, Simpson, Fitzgibbon, and Ricketson. And the substitutes, Crocker, Waterhouse, Mason, and Kearns. He gets the call because Shane Webke is out injured. Chris Anderson's the coach. Well, it really is a chilly evening here in the capital, and the Aussies wrapped up well against the cool. And we have talked in the build-up about various positions, various pressures, Steve-O, that is on the shoulders of coaches and players. But it's Gower and Kimorley at half-back for the Aussies. Is that the half-back partnership that will go into the test, do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Eddie. I think that Chris Anderson will definitely go for the experience of those two half-back. Craig Gower, of course, cock-a-hoop of the fact that his Penrith side lifted the trophy down under Brett Kimorley. Last year, very, very slow to get into the swing of things, but he's certainly improved. We know his quality. Been here, of course, with the Super League Australians a few years back. But I'm sure that David Waite is pretty confident that John Keir, who will be the coach tonight of this England side, will have them all fired up to it. But I'm sure that David Waite will be looking at two particular positions. One is Rob Barrow and Danny Maguire. We've often said it, a lot of people in the media have been suggesting that these two youngsters should be brought into the major squad. This is their wonderful opportunity tonight. And if they can show their ability and their confidence against the might of the Australians, then who knows? David Wade has made it quite clear to all these youngsters who are just lining up for the national anthems that if they do play extremely well, they will be drafted in and they will have an opportunity of playing Test football.
Well, Chris Anderson was in that Australian side, beaten by Widnes 25 years ago. He was on the wing. He had actually played for Widnes in the 1975 Challenge Cup win. And there he is, the Australian coach. A man who hopes that he will be taking the Ashes trophy home with him. But all that has to be decided over those 3 Saturday evenings in November. Here now, the national anthems of the two nations. Reardon, Sinfield and Long. The forwards, Fielden, Hudson, McDermott, Morley, Ellis and Gilmore. And the bench is occupied by Wood, Newton, Deacon and this is David Waite. Now get Fred A, or in other words, the pick of the English youngsters knocking around the Super League at the moment. And there is the England dressing room. Do you know, not one member of this side was born when the Kangaroos were last beaten by a game outside the Test arena in this country. It was October the 25th, 1978, when Widnes beat the Aussies 11-10 at Norton Park. Doug Lawton was player coach that day, almost 25 years to the day, and that's the sort of pressure that this Australian side is under. They lost 30 points to 16 to New Zealand 10 days ago. They didn't look convincing in beating the French on Saturday. People are tipping Great Britain to win the Ashes. Well, we shall see. The English boys can give the Great Britain side a real boost tonight with a good performance. Briscoe is the fullback, Calderwood, Gleeson, Aspinwall, Gardner. Thorman is alongside Burrow. The forwards, Lynch, Diskin, Parker, Tickle, Radford and O'Loughlin is the captain. And on the bench for England A, we have Maguire, Hock, Hyam and Danny Sculthorpe, and the coach is John Keir. This is the way the Australians line up. Almost a Test side. Lockyer at fullback, Singh, Hegarty, De Vere and Lewis, Gower and Kimorley. The forwards, Clinton, Badouris, Sivanasiva, Simpson, Fitzgibbon and Ricketson. And the substitutes, Crocker, Waterhouse, Mason and Kearns. He gets the call because Shane Webke is out injured. Chris Anderson's the coach. Well, it really is a chilly evening here in the capital, and the Aussies wrapped up well against the cool. And we have talked in the build-up about various positions, various pressures, Steve-O, that is on the shoulders of coaches and players. But it's Gower and Kimorley at half-back for the Aussies. Is that the half-back partnership that will go into the Test, do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Eddie. I think that Chris Anderson will definitely go for the experience of those two half-back. Craig Gower, of course, cock-a-hoop of the fact that his Penrith side lifted the trophy down under Brett Kimorley. Last year, very, very slow to get into the swing of things, but he's certainly improved. We know his quality. Been here, of course, with the Super League Australians a few years back. But I'm sure that David Wade is pretty confident that John Keir, who will be the coach tonight of this England side, will have them all fired up to it. But I'm sure that David Wade will be looking at two particular positions. One is Rob Burrow and Danny Maguire. We've often said it, a lot of people in the media have been suggesting that these two youngsters should be brought into the major squad. This is their wonderful opportunity tonight. And if they can show their ability and their confidence against the might of the Australians, then who knows? David Wade has made it quite clear to all these youngsters who are just lining up for the national anthems that if they do play extremely well, they will be drafted in and they will have an opportunity of playing Test football.
Well, Chris Anderson was in that Australian side, beaten by Widnes 25 years ago. He was on the wing. He had actually played for Widnes in the 1975 Challenge Cup win. And there he is, the Australian coach, a man who hopes that he will be taking the Ashes trophy home with him. But all that has to be decided over those 3 Saturday evenings in November. Here now, the national anthems of the 2 nations. Or in other words, the pick of the English youngsters knocking around the Super League at the moment. And there is the England dressing room. Do you know, not one member of this side was born when the Kangaroos were last beaten by a game outside the Test arena in this country. It was October the 25th, 1978, when Widnes beat the Aussies 11-10 at Norton Park. Doug Lawton was player coach that day. Almost 25 years to the day, and that's the sort of pressure that this Australian side is under. They lost 30 points to 16 to New Zealand 10 days ago. They didn't look convincing in beating the French on Saturday. People are tipping Great Britain to win the Ashes. Well, we shall see. The English boys can give the Great Britain side a real boost tonight with a good performance. Briscoe is the fullback, Calderwood, Gleeson, Aspinwall, Gardner. Thorman is alongside Burrow. The forwards, Lynch, Diskin, Parker, Tickle, Radford, and O'Loughlin is the captain. And on the bench for England A, we have Maguire, Hock, Hyam and Danny Sculthorpe, and the coach is John Keir. This is the way the Australians line up. Almost a test side. Lockyer at fullback, Singh, Hegarty, De Vere and Lewis, Gower and Kimorley. The forwards, Clinton, Baduras, Sivanasiva, Simpson, Fitzgibbon and Ricketson. And the substitutes, Crocker, Waterhouse, Mason and Kearns. He gets the call because Shane Webke is out injured. Chris Anderson's the coach. Well, it really is a chilly evening here in the capital, and the Aussies wrapped up well against the cool. And we have talked in the build-up about various positions, various pressures, Steve-O, that is on the shoulders of coaches and players. But it's Gower and Kimorley at half-back for the Aussies. Is that the half-back partnership that will go into the test, do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Eddie. I think that Chris Anderson will definitely go for the experience of those 2 half-back. Craig Gower, of course, cock-a-hoop of the fact that his Penrith side lifted the trophy down under Brett Kimorley. Last year, very, very slow to get into the swing of things, but he's certainly improved. We know his quality. Been here, of course, with the Super League Australians a few years back. But I'm sure that David Wade is pretty confident that John Keir, who will be the coach tonight of this England side, will have them all fired up to it. But I'm sure that David Wade will be looking at 2 particular positions. One is Rob Barrow and Danny Maguire. We've often said it, a lot of people in the media have been suggesting that these 2 youngsters should be brought into the major squad. This is their wonderful opportunity tonight. And if they can show their ability and their confidence against the might of the Australians, then who knows? David Wade has made it quite clear to all these youngsters who are just lining up for the national anthems that if they do play extremely well, they will be drafted in and they will have an opportunity of playing test football.
Well, Chris Anderson was in that Australian side, beaten by Widnes 25 years ago. He was on the wing. He had actually played for Widnes in the 1975 Challenge Cup win. And there he is, the Australian coach, a man who hopes that he will be taking the Ashes trophy home with him. But all that has to be decided over those 3 Saturday evenings in November. Here now, the national anthems of the 2 nations. Or in other words, the pick of the English youngsters knocking around the Super League at the moment. And there is the England dressing room. Do you know, not one member of this side was born when the Kangaroos were last beaten by a game outside the Test arena in this country. It was October the 25th, 1978, when Widnes beat the Aussies 11-10 at Norton Park. Doug Lawton was player coach that day. Almost 25 years to the day, and that's the sort of pressure that this Australian side is under. They lost 30 points to 16 to New Zealand 10 days ago. They didn't look convincing in beating the French on Saturday. People are tipping Great Britain to win the Ashes. But we shall see. The English boys can give the Great Britain side a real boost tonight with a good performance. Briscoe is the fullback. Calderwood, Gleeson, Aspinwall, Garner. Thorman is alongside Burrow. The forwards, Lynch, Diskin, Parker, Tickle, Radford, and O'Loughlin is the captain. And on the bench for England A, we have Maguire, Hock, Hyam, and Danny Sculthorpe, and the coach is John Keir. This is the way the Australians line up. Almost a test side. Lockyer at fullback, Singh, Hegarty, De Vere, and Lewis, Gower, and Kimorley. The forwards, Clinton, Badouris, Sivanasiva, Simpson, Fitzgibbon, and Ricketson. And the substitutes, Crocker, Waterhouse, Mason, and Kearns. He gets the call because Shane Webke is out injured. Chris Anderson's the coach. Well, it really is a chilly evening here in the capital, and the Aussies wrapped up well against the cool. And we have talked in the build-up about various positions, various pressures, Steve-O, that is on the shoulders of coaches and players. But it's Gower and Kimorley at half-back for the Aussies. Is that the half-back partnership that will go into the test, do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Eddie. I think that Chris Anderson will definitely go for the experience of those two half-back. Craig Gower, of course, cock-a-hoop of the fact that his Penrith side lifted the trophy down under Brett Kimorley. Last year, very, very slow to get into the swing of things, but he's certainly improved. We know his quality. Been here, of course, with the Super League Australians a few years back. But I'm sure that David Waite is pretty confident that John Keir, who will be the coach tonight of this England side, will have them all fired up to it. But I'm sure that David Waite will be looking at two particular positions. One is Rob Barrow and Danny Maguire. We've often said it, a lot of people in the media have been suggesting that these two youngsters should be brought into the major squad. This is their wonderful opportunity tonight. And if they can show their ability and their confidence against the might of the Australians, then who knows? David Waite has made it quite clear to all these youngsters who are just lining up for the national anthems that if they do play extremely well, they will be drafted in and they will have an opportunity of playing test football.
Well, Chris Anderson was in that Australian side, beaten by Widnes 25 years ago. He was on the wing. He had actually played for Widnes in the 1975 Challenge Cup win. And there he is, the Australian coach. A man who hopes that he will be taking the Ashes trophy home with him. But all that has to be decided over those 3 Saturday evenings in November. Here now, the national anthems of the two nations.